Hey guys, it's Chris Haskins with the realestateroundup.com, and I want to welcome you to another flip tip today. We're going to be talking about my two house buying equations, How in the world do we come up with these numbers and these figures to where we know exactly how much we want to pay for a property, right? You have to know this stuff. If you don't, you're dead. Before I get into the meat of our training, I want to talk to you about some philosophy. I always like to kind of dig into your mind just a little bit, because I want to share what I've learned from some masters in this business and pass it on to you. I recently was able to hang out with one of the grandfathers, the godfather of real estate, Ron LeGrand, and he recently bought a restaurant. I think it was $750,000 or something, but he bought a restaurant that was already functioning and up running, and we went to eat dinner there. It was real nice. And I noticed the man writing on his hand. I saw him writing information, walking around the restaurant, just writing down little stuff. He's walking around looking at stuff, walking. And I talked to him. He's like, he left his black book at home. He has a black book. And every millionaire that I know, without exception, has a black book. They carry it around in their pocket. But Ron, for this day, had left it at home, and he didn't have his black book. So he's writing down data and stuff that he wants to remember on his hand. So I want to encourage you just to say, listen, what are you doing to collect information that pops off in your head? Do you have your black book? You have to get one of these. They're $6 at Target. Matter of fact, I give them to all my new coaching clients. So go out there, get you a black book, carry it everywhere you go, unless you have one of those phones where you can doodle in with that. But I recommend disconnecting from the phone so you can put stuff on paper, so you can create a space between the thought and actually implementation. Thought and implementation. How many times, ask yourself, have you had an idea and took you a while to implement it? So that black book, I carry mine everywhere I go. Reason being, because the guys that my mentors, they have a black book too. So go out there and get your black book. Target or Walmart is $6. All right, our training today, a house buying equation. What in the world is that? I meet people constantly. They want to know, how do you know how much to pay for a house? How do you know? Why would you only pay 40 grand, or why would you only pay 80,000 for this property? That's what we're going to get into today. And I'm pushing through a terrible cold. I want you to know that I love you. I'm pushing through this cold so I can bring you some value to your life. Okay, when you're purchasing investment grade real estate, there's several ways to buy, but the equation we're going to cover today is if you're going out there and getting a loan from a hard money guy. Remember from my last training, a hard money guy is going to be someone who's going to lend you the money based on the value of the asset and not necessarily your ability to pay it back. Okay, so we've got the hard money equation and the cash equation, and there are some acronyms that you're going to have to know. It's imperative that you know. The first one is going to be ARV. And that's not one of the things that you ride down the street in with your family and go down the country and in the mountainside and ride around and all that crap. This is going to be, it's what we call the after repair value. The after repair value is right here. You have to know what the property is worth. Before you even go in, you must know how much you can sell it for. All I care about before I even go in is, what's my first question is, what can I sell it for? If I don't know what I can sell it for, there's no way that I can put together an equation to determine how much I can pay for something. If I don't know I can sell it for $10, there's no way I can come up with it. What if I want to spend $20, but I can only sell it for $12? So I have to know the ARV. How do we do that? We get a realtor or we pull the comps on our own. We're just going to get some like kind properties and get a ballpark number of where they're selling for. Today, our example is going to be $150,000. So ARV, after repair value. The next acronym you must know is MAYO. MAYO. No, I'm not talking about that stuff that you put on your sandwich and you put on the bread to make a sandwich. No, we're talking about the acronym of maximum allowable offer. Your maximum allowable offer. What can we pay for these properties? What's the most that I can come in there and make an offer to get my offer accepted? Okay, so you have to know ARV, understanding it, and understand MAYO. I signed up some new coaching clients recently, and we were going over these acronyms, and it was new to them. So I want to make sure it's not new to you when you go out there and you're interfacing with other investors in the marketplace. Where was that? All right. So, oh yeah, I forgot to thank my boy Rich for working with me today. And before I even forget, subscribe to my channel below, guys. I'm looking for 10,000 subs before the end of the month. We're already up to 1,600, and I think we can get them before the end of the month. All right. I always forget to do that. Okay, so two house buying equations. If you don't have your equations down, you are dead. The first thing investors or savvy real estate investors say is, what are the numbers? What are the numbers? We don't care about all this stuff about, I tell you, my coaching clients, they tell me how much of a great neighborhood it is, how nice the cellar was, how good the kitchen was, or the roof, or the windows. I'm like, dude, I don't care about any of that until I know what are the numbers. What can we buy it for and what can we sell it for? And we have to plug these things into equations. I cannot tell you how many times I have coaching clients go out and meet with a seller and they just want to pay more for houses because they are going outside of our equation. I do not know why. I think it's one of these human, or maybe it's a newbie thing where they just want to kind of break these equations for some reason and pay people more, maybe because they want the seller to like them. I don't know. Okay, so the hard money person is, this is going to be one buyer, and then you got your guys like me, your cash buyers, where we're going to go in and write a check and close in a week, okay? Now, your hard money, you're going to go out there and obtain a hard money lender. He is going to go by this equation also when you bring the deal to borrow that money. So, equation number one is going to be Mayo. What is Mayo? Remember, maximum allowable offer. What can you offer? Mayo equals ARV times 0.65 minus repairs. This is it. It's not rocket science. It's so simple. And your hard money guys are going to do the same thing. He's going to get his calculator. He's going to go times 0.65. This is all we can do, period. Maximum allowable offer equals ARV times 0.65 minus repairs. So hard money guy, how this works, if you're getting hard money, then for our example, we are going to use a house that's valued. The after repair value is $150,000, okay? So $150,000 house times 0.65, we start off $97,000. That brings it down to that. And why do we have to be at 0.65? That includes our profit, our holding costs, the cost of the money, taxes, insurance, maintenance, cost of the money, we said that, and closing costs to buy it and to sell it. All that's added up in this 0.65 is why we have to back all that out, including your profit. Now, I'm saying here, our repairs, I'm gonna do a standard rehab in today's market is $40,000. That's new kitchen, 2 new bathrooms, roof, windows, siding, flooring, paint, roughly $40,000 plus or minus. For our example today, $97,000 minus $40,000 is going to put you right at $57,500. So your Mayo, this equals Mayo. Oops, I always want to put MOA. $57,500 is your Mayo. Now, this isn't a science, this is an art. So your hard money guy might be able to move a little bit. You could probably bump that up to 60, 62, 63. He's not going to be mad at you, okay? You're still going to come out with your profit that you want out of this 0.65, all right? So the difference between 150 and 97.5 is going to be a profit, holding costs, realtor fees, all that stuff mixed up in there. We don't break it down when we're dealing with hard money lenders, all right? So you got that. This is one way, this is one house buying equation if you're using a hard money lender. Get it down, memorize it. Okay, if you're a cash guy, the good thing about cash guys, we can pay a little bit more. We can beat out any other investor that is going to get a loan to buy a property. And sellers love us. I'm fighting this cold, guys, bear with me. Okay, cash buyer, still same thing. Mayo equals ARV minus the profit that I want to make, minus repairs, minus holding costs is going to be my Mayo, okay? So how this looks is, we've got the same house, $150,000 house, minus $20,000, which is going to be my profit. I just want to, on an average, I want to make $20,000 on an average. Sometimes I'll make 30, sometimes I'll make 25, sometimes I'll make 15 or 12. You know, real estate is nothing but a numbers game. You make your money on volume, all right? So the ARV is 150, minus 20 is going to be our profit, minus 40,000 is going to be our repairs, and then we've got 20,000 our holding costs. And remember over here, that was mixed all in. I have a average holding cost is going to be realtor fees, 6%, The buyers and sellers closing costs, because we're paying buyers closing costs, roughly is going to be 3%. Taxes, insurance, cost of the money, and maintenance. All that stuff adds up to about $20,000. We call it cost to sell, okay? So if we got 150K minus all this here, ends up right around $70,000, all right? Now, we've got a difference between 57 and 70. That's about a 10, roughly. If we bump this up, once again, this is an art. If we just round this up to 60 and we got 70 on the cash guy, the cash buyer can usually pay a little bit more than the hard money buyer, okay? So our goal is to be a cash buyer and not rely on hard money lenders, all right? So you see the two different equations, and guys, I do not stray from this. Sometimes I can play with these numbers here, take it down to 18 or maybe 17. And sometimes here in my rehab, I can tweak it 1,000 or 2 here. And on my profit, sometimes I can move it. However, I want to be around this 70,000, maybe 72, 68. As long as it's around that, you're good to go. All right. So house buying equations. Do not stray from the equations, and you can't lose. You can't lose. One caveat I want to say on this 0.65 here. If you're buying properties under $100,000 on the ARV, this has to change to 0.55. All right, you have to be at 0.55% because you don't have that many dollars going around. The less dollars you have going around, the less that can stick to you. All right, the more dollars going around, the more it can stick to you. So you don't have to be so stringent on the numbers. So don't stray from the house buying equations. You can't lose. Chris Haskins, subscribe to my channel, guys. realestateroundup.com. I'll see you next time.